Hi beauties! Welcome back to Beauty Within, where we talk all things skincare, self-care, and healthy living to find our beauty within. Bing! Today we have a very exciting topic to share with you guys. New additions to the acne fam. The anti-acne fam.
Clearly we can see Rowena doesn't introduce acne all that often.
So we have spot treatments, we have masks, we have toners, cleansers, moisturizers.
Yes.
All the things are here, but what do I know about acne? Fel, take it away.
There's always something to learn, right? And the thing is, every year and even like every month, so many new acne products come out onto the market. So it is our job to help you guys try it all out so you don't have to make the mistake of, spending all your hard-earned cash monies. Because even within acne, there's different types of breakouts, right? There's like little bumps, there's pustules, and then there's like cystic, there's hormonal. So we want to dissect a little bit about these new acne products, how they can help, and for what type of breakout.
And as always, we're picking products from across different price points to make sure that there's something for everyone out there. And we want to give Hero Skincare a huge shout out for sponsoring today's video. We'll be diving deeper into their Clear Collective line. But until then, let's get started with how to bing bing our skin.
I mean, not this.
The opposite of this.
Yes. Let's get started with one of our favorite brands, which is First Aid Beauty, FAB. Isn't it nice when the acronym actually is kind of fab? So First Aid Beauty, if you haven't heard of it, is designed for sensitive skin, and one of Rose's favorite is that milky toner. The oat one.
Yes. So their creams are known to be very effective with like super dry skin, even people with eczema.
Eczema, rosacea, redness, itchiness. I think that's what it's designed for.
But today we're not talking about dry skin. We're talking about oily acne-prone skin.
Yes.
So the first product is First Aid Beauty's Pharma BHA Acne Spot Treatment Gel, 2% salicylic acid.
What a name!
That was a mouthful. Just get all this stuff on there. So this is a clear gel spot treatment that uses both AHA and BHA as well as fruit enzymes to really help with the gentle exfoliation.
Yes.
And BHA 2% is pretty standard across most spot treatments. So how would you use this in your routine? What are your thoughts?
I like how this is gently resurfacing the skin, but also nourishing it, because AHA is water soluble and BHA is oil soluble, right? So it's actually working in different layers of your skin without over drying it. And I feel like this does a really good job in being a really subtle treatment that you can use during the day because it's not colored. It's not textured, it doesn't dry flaky, and so you can kind of camouflage it under makeup or during the day. Also, if you're like wearing a mask now, I use it after a moisturizer, and then let that kind of like sink in a little bit, put my sunscreen on, and then you can put your mask on. So it's kind of like doing its job. And then you can also reapply this throughout the day if you're just at home, whenever you like, 2 to 3 times per day. And I don't feel that it really dries it out at all. And then I found, because I had like a couple breakouts, that time of month, which is when things get a little gnarly. And over the course of 2 or 3 days, it's significantly flattened. So it really does help, it unclogs the pore because it's BHA. It kind of resurfaces the skin very gently with glycolic acid, and as we know, that is one of the more like effective AHAs. Alrighties, moving on to the next one, which is from Versed, one of my favorite affordable skincare brands, because they're just like very straightforward. So they came out with this new acne treatment called Game Over Acne Drying Treatment. So how I think about this is, yeah, when like the game, the 8-bit games. This one I feel like, how we do masks?
Yes.
Clay mask.
Whoa.
Instead of a full-on clay mask, this is a clay mask over just the pimple.
Interesting.
Yeah. So to me, it's kind of between that clay mask and the drying treatments, the dipping drying treatments. It's not as drying as that.
There's bentonite and kaolin clay in here and 10% sulfur.
All of which are really great for oily skin. Yeah, so bentonite clay is also known as the Aztec. That is a type of bentonite clay. And so it's really good at extracting the deep layers of sebum stuck in the pores.
Yeah.
And then the kaolin is like what dry skin people like you can even use. And then the sulfur is really great because you have really high-end products like Sunday Riley that have a whole line of
Is it the
sulfur
UFO?
products. Yeah, the UFO one. Yeah,
You
just
leave it on
throw
overnight. Interesting. Do you wake up with it still on your face, or is it elsewhere on your pillow?
Ro, let me tell you. Anything that I put on my face at night disappears the next morning.
There's like a little fairy every night, like
Yeah.
with a little cotton swab wiping it off.
Yeah, just vacuuming up my face. I don't know where it goes. Like my pillows are still clean by some miracle. But it's just because the sheer amount of oil that you accumulate, face rubbing. Are you a person who sleeps like literally in the same position?
No, I go like this.
Yeah.
My head is like, and sometimes I go like this.
You wake up like at the bottom of the bed.
You actually did that. You do that.
Don't tell them our sleeping patterns. I feel like this is different to that. That is more nourishing. It doesn't leave it dried.
Interesting.
But I feel like if you have dry skin, this could be too dry.
This is more of a heavy hitter.
Yes, for oily skin people. And what's cool is you can even use this over like whitehead areas, and sulfur is just really great for oily acne-prone skin. And yeah, that's their new sweat treatment. Ding. All right, now moving on to our collective trio from Hero. This is their new line. So if you guys don't know, Hero specializes in the pimple patches and the stickers, and they have really great pimple stickers, but this is their foray into skincare, which is super exciting because, you know, when you do something really well and you're like extending the product range, it's very interesting to see how brands approach it and how they formulate it. So they have a cleanser, and then they have a toner, which is awesome, and then a moisturizer.
It's also beautiful.
Yeah.
Product aside, like this jelly looks amazing.
Right?
And it feels amazing. Also the texture in here too.
Yes.
And the oils, love it.
Yes, it's that micro encapsulated oil thing. So let's start off with the cleanser first and share with you our thoughts. This is the Exfoliating Jelly Cleanser for all skin types. What are your thoughts on this?
It has a beautiful texture. It's kind of like the fluffy jelly. And it's very gently exfoliating. It's actually suitable for all skin types, which is why I'm also using it. So in here, there's AHAs, including glycolic acid, mandelic acid, as well as PHAs. And there's also fruit extracts, including yuzu fruit extract, pineapple fruit extract, which we know is another mild form of gentle exfoliating enzymes. There's also sage leaf water, willow bark. There's many things. Also probiotics and fermentation. Like, got it all.
That's why it was really impressive, because I was not expecting so much to be packed into this cleanser. So with all of that said, it is a very like subtly brightening cleanser. It's not overly stripping, but it's also helping to regulate sebum. And if you guys have combination skin, oily skin, dry skin, you know, some of our favorite cleansers do have these mild chemical exfoliants. So PHA, this one has gluconolactone, which is a very, very mild chemical exfoliant coupled with
molecular size.
Yeah, with the mandelic acid, which topically we love. You know, we have toners and it helps to unstick the glue, but not do it in a way that's like overly drying. For most skin types, I think you can enjoy this consistency.
These little pieces
Isn't it interesting?
are melting as you're pressing them in.
Yes, it's like the whole line, they use this concept of like encapsulation, which is really cool. And it doesn't smell like anything. Got it on my
It smells like the clean.
When we first tried it, we were like, wow, okay. Nice intro to the range.
I love cleansers that just wash off very easily. This is definitely one of those.
And what gives it this unique texture is the cognac root powder, which acts as a humectant, so it's helping with hydration as you're washing your face. And what humectants do is obviously plump up your skin. It makes it more like bouncy and radiant. And so while you're cleansing your face, it's definitely not overly stripping. Yeah. Now let's move on to their toner. Now, this is their balancing capsule toner, also for all skin types.
Yes. So this is a hydrating serum and pore refining toner all in one to help you achieve really that bouncy.
All of a sudden got a lisp.
to help you achieve that bouncy, plump skin. In there, there's snow mushroom or snow fungus, which is popular in traditional Chinese medicine. It's like what we eat in our soups.
Yes.
I used to think it was very strange because it was slightly mucousy.
Yeah.
But then now when you think about skincare and the products that work well for our skin and all of that, and like how it's good to ingest specific types of foods that are very mucousy in texture because it's good for your like internal. So if it's good for your internal organs, body, world, it's also good for your external world. So for the snow mushroom on the skin, it acts similarly to hyaluronic acid by pulling moisture from the air into the skin. I think this is like most mushrooms.
Yes. So when I first put this on, it's pretty cool that I think it allows you to skip steps. You know, we're always talking about streamlining our routine. And for teenagers, teenage skincare, which is when we experience the most breakouts, I feel like, and the consistency of it reminds me of like a Pyeongkang Yul almost.
Yeah. I was gonna say it's very similar to the Isntree toner, like the Toner Plus.
Oh yeah.
But not as thick or viscousy, but it gives me the same feeling of it being super hydrating and super nourishing.
And because, as you know, toner and serum is really there to tackle a certain skin concern. And if we're dealing with breakouts, if we're dealing with dull skin, this one has glycolic as well as mandelic, much like the cleanser. There's like kind of similar chemical exfoliants going on, but they are very gentle, and I think it's formulated at a low percentage.
And again, pairing actives with more soothing ingredients, there's also green tea water, which of course we know helps hydrate the skin. It's one of my favorite products, and it's a really good product for people with oily skin as it helps with controlling the sebum. There's also yuzu fruit extract, which is high in antioxidants and vitamin C. It also has pineapple fruit extract. It also has willow bark and witch hazel, which is very similar to the cleanser. And there's also 8 types of hyaluronic acid to really help with that hydration. There's also zinc PCA and allantoin.
Zinc, willow bark, and witch hazel, if formulated right, can really help rebalance your skin. You know, especially for combo people who are like oily in the T-zone and then they're dry in others. But if you use too much of witch hazel, that's when you can get overly stripping. But this one, definitely you don't even feel like it's stripping because it is more of that hydration burst. And like, as you were talking, I was just kind of bursting those little bubble things. And it's like pew, pew. But that's not to say this moisturizer is not good, because what it stands out as is a skin building, very smooth probiotic moisturizer. You know what it reminds me of? Like a lightweight version of the Make Prem.
Ooh.
Don't you think? Because it's got that silky, shiny consistency, and a little goes a long way.
It does. I'm still working it in.
I remember dabbing this over my cheeks, forehead, nose, and neck, and I was like, oh gosh, it's really spreadable. It's very lightweight.
The most notable ingredient in here is the prebiotic sugar complex, which act as a humectant to hydrate the skin, and also prebiotic as a food for the bacteria in your skin to build up a healthy skin barrier and microbiome.
Yes. And what does that mean? Basically, our skin has a very complex universe. It's got bad bacteria, good bacteria, and you want to feed the good bacteria so it's healthy and strong. So your acid mantle, so the surface of your skin is like really protecting itself, and the prebiotics is feeding that good bacteria. This is a skin barrier strengthening moisturizer.
Yeah. So very similarly, in the moisturizer and the toner and the cleanser, there's also mandelic as well as glycolic acid.
So that's why we say you don't need every product to have these chemical exfoliants, although I think it's interesting that it's formulated low so it can be used together, but I would say that's only really effective if you have super oily skin and oily breakout skin. If you use it all together, it's really controlling the oil, which then is decreasing the amount of potential breakout. It's balanced, and I think this does more than enough to re-nourish the skin so you're not like left dry and flaky. But I feel like if you have dry acne prone, you can just stick to like 1 or 2 of them. So it really is chop and change. Ask yourself what it is that you're missing within your current routine, and then you can like go from there.
And even for me, I would say the cleanser and the toner work beautifully even for dry skin. And also with the gentle exfoliation, I think it works great if I want to like clarify or like brighten my skin, because it's been a bit congested with something that's gentle, especially now that I don't use too much chemical exfoliants. Something like this would be great. Next, we have a surprise guest, because we really just forgot to put it on. This is the Inkey List's new It sounds like the Pokemon. It sounds like Suicine. You know, the three dragon, the three dog gods.
Harry Potter over the trapdoor.
So this is actually succinic acid. There's 2% in here, and to put simply, it is another ingredient that has properties similar to what we're most familiar with when it comes to acne and breakouts, which is salicylic acid, and this is a natural occurring ingredient in amber, sugarcane, apple cider vinegar, and even living organisms. Suicine. Okay, succinic acid is obtained after it goes through a process of fermentation, and as we know, fermentation is one of the
It's like a skin building. What was that? Smooth.
It fell.
Real smooth.
It fell right out of my hands. So this specific ingredient has been around for a while, but it's pretty new to the skincare world, or like to hit the shelves of like actual skincare products. In general, it helps tarnish blemishes by controlling sebum and reducing shine. So this, compared to salicylic acid, it doesn't exfoliate as much, but this makes it great for people with more sensitive skin types.
So after I used it, it was like a very surprisingly, first of all, it's green. It's like algae. And then it's very lightweight. And then you kind of dab it in and I'm like, huh, interesting, green. If that's like a naturally occurring color that comes from the ingredients, that's great because it works well to counteract the redness of breakouts on your skin. Because you know how when you put on makeup, there's like different concealers, you use the green one to counteract redness.
Yeah.
And then you put it on and it just like spreads really easily. It's very similar to that consistency, just not as hydrating
First Day Beauty?
Yeah, very lightweight. But I feel like this is probably the mildest of the formulations in terms of using it on a daily basis, maybe at night. Then over time, it can definitely help to flatten the breakout, to kind of like control it. But also keep in mind that the breakout is going to heal itself whether or not you use anything. You're just kind of like alleviating and speeding up that process without over drying. So there's that one. Now we have Paula's Choice. So let's start off with the newest one.
So the first is Paula's Choice New Skin Perfecting 25% AHA and 2% BHA Peel. This sounds like the vampire facial.
It does, but less scary.
Yes. So this is a multi-acid rinse-off liquid type exfoliant that helps soothe wrinkles, refine texture, unclog pores, and brighten overall complexion. Whoa, it's a beautiful color.
Dude, this product.
Beautiful.
Yes.
Whether you have oily, acne-prone skin or not, I think most skin types minus sensitive skin could use this.
Yeah, I feel like you really have to know how tolerant your skin is because this is super effective. And I feel like this is probably one of the most exciting products that they've come out with lately because even our team members, she tried it, came back the next day and she's like, Val, have you tried the wash-off mask yet? I was like, no, how is it? She's like, so I had a bunch of whiteheads and it was all textured and it was bumpy and then I put it on for 10 minutes, washed it off and it was smooth.
Oh.
Yeah, so that's what the effects of AHA and BHA can really do at a percentage formulation like this. 25% is heavy, right? Like we say anything above 15%, you gotta know that your skin works well with it. And she has dry skin and it worked great for her. And she's like, and then I was ravishing and glowing afterwards. So then after that, I was like, okay, little Miss Influencer, let me try this. So it's this, first of all, a beautiful like pearlescent purple. Which we'll get into is the butterfly pea powder, which is rich in antioxidants and also helps to subtly smooth irritation. But what you do is you just spread it all over the face and it's like a thin layer. It kind of dries off to be that like
peel off mask?
Yeah, but it's not.
Yeah.
And then you wash it off and it's just like, it truly is unclogged, unstuck all the dead skin, the new skin reveals. Because when you talk about dull acne prone, it's basically you're covered by this film of dust and
oil
dead
and dead skin.
Yeah,
beautiful.
So if you can like rip it off,
Oh.
that's what this can do. And that's what chemical exfoliants can do.
So you know the butterfly pea? It's what they put in drinks.
Yes.
Nowadays, like the blue, beautiful drinks, like aside from there's like the spirulina.
It's such a beautiful thing. And this is the first time we've seen it in a skincare product actually. So I wonder how they went about that. But in terms of AHAs, this has lactic acid, glycolic acid, mandelic acid, malic acid. So it's got the whole kind of like plethora of effective chemical exfoliants and 2% BHA. So you could even use this similar to a spot treatment and just put it on the areas that you need.
Do you think I could use that?
I think so, as kind of like, you know how we use the Peach and Lily Reboot mask? That is fine for your skin, but I also feel like Paula's Choice also has like ingredients that help with hydrating as well, so it's not overly. Although, if you ever try the 20% niacinamide, use that one carefully. So use this once every 2 weeks, don't need it a lot. And then we also just wanted to throw in that they had the BHA 9%, which has been my holy grail for a while because it's like one of the most heavy hitting without peeling, but 9%, but doesn't feel like it. It's like this oil carrier, which is what makes it so hydrating, so soothing to the skin because it's also got, I think, green tea extract.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. And a little with this one goes a super long way. Although this one is a little bit more expensive. I remember it's like $46 or something, but it's the only one on the market that really stands in this 9% category of salicylic acid without being drying. Like I still to this day can't even understand how that works.
I feel like the standard is 2%. Like you never see it more than 2% in most other like serums or even toners.
Yeah. Exactly. So this, I feel like, edges closer to being able to help with the more stubborn, deep-rooted, like, you know, you touch it and it hurts, those kind of
Yeah, it hurts like that?
Yeah, no, you're just like, think, ah! You like pass out, ah, cry, ah. And guys, it's like SpongeBob. But yeah, so that's a great one. You use that at the end of your routine, much like the other spot treatments. And so those are our thoughts on, I guess, the latest installments of acne products.
I feel like you have something to share top of mind. Go ahead, teacher Fel.
Okay, so you know how you're just scrolling on your Instagram and then my whole screenshot folder is just things that I like, oh, this is cool. Never looks back on it. But there was this post that I thought was really accurate. So it's like of a brick wall with a quote. It says, people are in our life for a reason, season, or lifetime. The pain comes when we put them in the wrong category. Thinking about the friendships we have, maybe our significant others, acquaintances, they come like in flux in and out of our life. And the only time that we feel like we've been wronged is when maybe we misunderstood the relationship or we put in too much when it was like an unbalanced kind of relationship, or you expected more from someone, in which case it wasn't even the case. So for you then, how would you say you could gauge how much to put into any sort of relationships?
It really depends on the person, it depends on the season in your life, it depends on where you are, how much you're capable of giving people. I say for the most part, like I know my core group of friends, like my family, my like closest friends, I'll give them 100% whenever I can. And like as soon as I get a text from them, I respond to it. But it's like literally a handful of people who I do that to. For most other people, it's like they text me and like I respond in like a week, if even at that.
5 days later.
Yeah, but I think like going back to what you were saying, I asked my dad this question a few weeks ago on my channel. He basically just said you need to trust the heavenly plans of specific relationships, and that what's meant to happen will happen. And it's the same with relationships, right? Like you can try your best, you can prepare all you want for anything in life, but if the thing isn't supposed to be yours, then it will never be yours, and like it's just never gonna come, right? But I think that shouldn't deter us from trying our best in relationships, but also knowing at the same time that there may be larger arrangements, that the more we force something, the more we're attached to something, the more that we're fighting for something. Sometimes, like, you know, the right thing may be to just take a step back and like allow the course of nature to run. The type of relationships that I've learned have worked the best, it really is easy. Low effort, not in a way it's like you're not putting in effort, but it's like you have an unspoken understanding that, hey, I don't need to talk to you every single day of my life, but you know I got you and I know you got me. And then it's this unspoken, and sometimes it is spoken, right? But I think like those are the best relationships when you don't expect much from each other in that way.
And then it takes on its own course. Yeah. And that's like true friendship or true love, whatever you want to call it, right? Like, because you have respect for yourself, and then you have respect for whatever the union between you and someone else, and you have respect for them. So it's like beautiful. Practice letting go. So anyway, those are our thoughts for the day. If you have any
make it easy.
If you have questions, leave it below. Acne is one of our favorite content topics.
We also love talking about friendship and how they fit in different seasons and buckets in life.
Correct. And thank you to Hero for sponsoring a portion of this video so we can share more tips and facts with you guys always. Bye for now. So long. Farewell. I hate to go.